Welcome to the STEM Pathways podcast, where we delve into the fascinating world of science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm your host, Rohan Sharma, a passionate explorer of all things STEM. Each episode, we bring you captivating stories, cutting edge research, and inspiring interviews with experts and enthusiasts who are pushing the boundaries of innovation. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just curious about how the world works, join us as we unlock the mysteries of the universe and explore the endless possibilities of STEM. Let's get started. Today I'll be interviewing Dhruvil Darji, who has a master's in electrical and electronics engineering at Loyola Marymount University. So to start off with, what made you choose your major?
Hey, Rohan. Thank you for inviting me into your podcast. Sure. So, I always wanted to do something similar in robotics world when I was basically trying to understand and trying to get my major, like what do I want to choose. At that point of time, I was exploring some options like computer science or other options like mechanical engineering and stuff like that, like everybody does, right? That what do they really want to do? Uh, so basically, I guess just this some sort of passion of the integration between the software and hardware, where I really wanted to basically marriage these two pieces, and I think electrical engineering is a way to go if you want to do that, because that actually opens up a bunch of paths moving forward for you. So it doesn't mean that after taking electrical engineering we cannot go only in software. We can go in software if we really want, right? It's just that it gives you more opportunities after that if you want to choose anything else post that as well. So yeah, considering that thought in my mind, I think I chose electrical engineering at that time. And yeah, robotics was also very upbringing field. Artificial intelligence was also coming up. So that was basically the major idea.
Yeah. So what was your experience like while getting your degree?
So my in my degree, the experience was very different because in Loyola Marymount University, we have like very uh, few master students comparatively, because that's a private university. So there is some advantages and some disadvantages to that. The advantages of that is because there are few master students, get to interact with professors very closely. So you get to meet professors on daily basis. You don't need to be worried a lot about the professor's free hours or something like that. You can barge into the professor and professor will respond to you because there are very few students in masters. Then there is a chance that you actually can focus on your project more, and professor will be also able to focus on your individual project more. That actually helps you to accelerate in terms of the analysis research, and also get in-depth knowledge about stuff with the professor, because more and more professor is engaged, you can get more knowledge and get more forward with that. So those things were very nice. The other disadvantages I would say was, in such college will be your alumni is not that strong, because anyway very less students are passing from such university, and because the alumni network is not very strong, it's probably very hard to get networking while you are studying in a college. So it becomes basically hard to basically get a job in a bigger companies or something like that. If you have a lot of alumni in big companies, it becomes little bit of easier, for they can guide you, they can support you, they can refer you, they can do a lot of stuff for you if you are capable and you are very interested and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is sort of pros and cons. So my experience overall was nice, and I think I got what I really wanted. So yeah.
Yeah. So what was your first job out of getting your degree?
Yeah, so after getting my degree, the first job was basically I started as a software test engineer in a company called Canoe. At that time, they used to call it a Velocity because it was a startup. They used to make electric vehicles just like Tesla. It was, and my job was basically to test self-driving capabilities of a car. So I used to test it. I was a test engineer. Um, and that actually required not much other than my in-depth Python knowledge and a little bit of systems understanding and aptitude capability, where my basically first manager who took my interview, who basically took my coding round in Python, little bit of C++, and also some of the understanding of the aptitude ability and also the systems knowledge. Um, yeah, and it was because I did my thesis in my college. It was thesis basically helps you create a whole project, right? Out of from the and it also helps you create research papers, projects, writing skills, your technical skills, statistical analysis skills, a lot of skills it actually improves. Thesis is very nice thing actually, to be very honest. So that actually helped me improve my skill, and it actually helped me to crack my interview over there.
Yeah. So what was your next job?
So my basically, technically speaking, after working for as a software test engineer for 2 years within the same company, I basically changed my role as a software developer, because while doing this work, testing work, I realized slowly that I might be better at development other than testing. And also surrounding of me people also realized that, sort of. So that transition was very easy, because the the manager of the developer team also only reached out to me, and basically they were like, hey, can you want to join my team? And then I decided, yeah, I think I'm better off over there other than just doing test, because I was better at software writing other than just doing some critical analysis and thinking capability of testing the software. So that's why I basically switched my role to as a software developer. And I worked there for 2 more years as a software development. But then basically this was a startup company. We basically did a lot of work over there, and we tried to put the car on the road, right? Like whatever you work on, you always want that your product, or whatever you work on, you always wish that somebody will use your thing, right? Your written software, somebody actually physically use it. But actually car industry doesn't work that way. Car industry is hard to basically crack in last, statistically speaking, last 50 years there is only one or two companies such that new companies went into the production in car industry, like Tesla, Rivian, and stuff like that. Not two, three companies, not more than that. So yeah, eventually it didn't happen for our company. And we basically, then I switched my job to basically Lucid Motors after that, which was a bigger company, because what I wanted was, I really wanted to work for a company whose basically product is in the market and people are using it, something valuable thing they're contributing to the world, and people are using it, and people are basically giving feedback, stuff like that. So I went to Lucid Motors after that. That was my second job. uh, yeah, after that basically I worked there for 5-6 months only, and within the same time frame I got a call from NVIDIA that they wanted some other space in a development team. And my goal was to basically go to the bigger company, because I wanted to contribute to the production. And of course, I think NVIDIA was very big at that time, I think. And yeah, so eventually I joined NVIDIA. And yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you've worked with self-driving cars this whole time. How similar was your work between jobs?
You mean my previous job versus current job?
I guess between all three of them.
Yeah, sure. So my work differed from job to job a lot. So here is the thing, right, about the job functions, right? So if you work in a very core technology, right? Core technology, for example, let's say you be a engineer like JavaScript developer, or you be an engineer like a React Native developer. So this kind of technologies are being used to create a mobile application, right? Let's say if you are very smart in that, right? So your job role from one company to another company will not change. It will change very little, because you just need to change the system and you are good there. That's it. Other than that, the same coding, same exercises, same thing, you'll keep doing that, right? Like that. My job was little different. There are multiple factors for that. One factor is because self-driving industry is emerging industry. And when I joined in 2018, self-driving cars weren't there. They were still figuring it out how to make it, right? So at that time, different sort of experiments were going on. So this technology were not like mundane technology or something where you know how to do it. So everybody knows what they are doing. So this is your work, this is your work. It wasn't like that. So you basically need to figure it out how to make it work. So my job was also like that. So when I was in my first company, my job role was very different. I used to basically code on my laptop, run stuff on the computers, GPUs on a bench, and then basically I take the same code, go to the some hill machines, they call it hardware in the loop machines. There is your target hardwares and everything is there. I run it there. From there I take the code, I put it in a car, then I run it in a car and I see if it works or not, and then I go back and stuff like that. So I used to do end-to-end stuff like that, a lot of stuff basically. And because it was also a startup, so you don't have a lot of people, right? So that's a different thing.
Yeah.
And the processes are not established, right? Because any startup basically they learn to establish processes, stuff like that. So my first job was learning was incredibly good at that time, like incredibly good, because you work on end-to-end stuff from basic, like and it was very good learning. But there is a catch. That learning is in a right direction or wrong direction, that is very important to know, right? Because if your product is not going to the production and your product is not successful, whatever learning you have, people will question it as well at some point of time. That, hey, even though you did so much work, right? Why your product did not be successful? Like, what is the reason? They don't really ask you such questions, but if
They
you will
think
just look
it.
at the profile, it shows, right? That, yeah,
Yeah.
you are claiming you worked a lot, but that product, where is this? It's not there, right? So yeah, but yeah, so learning was good. Then I switched the company. I went to Lucid Motors. The company was a little bigger. Now processes were more established over there. People were more smarter over there. People were more experienced over there. Things were more aligning. Things were more sophisticated. Things were more productionized in my second job. And then I started realize my role became smaller. Now they don't basically ask me to go to the car, go to here, go everywhere, like do everything like that. No, they give me a small function. Hey, you just work on this. That's it. You don't do anything else. After that, you just pass it on to someone else. Someone else will do something else, stuff like that. Still, it wasn't that bad. I was like still be able to see end-to-end picture, right? Like very easily. That, hey, okay, this is how it works. This is, so I have sort of correlating in my previous job, but not a lot. Like probably 15 to 20% of the work I used to do, which was similar from previous job. That's it. 80% of the work was new, like that. Um,
And
yeah,
what
but
did
I
you
really
focus
did
on at Lucid?
sorry.
Oh, what did you focus on at Lucid?
So in Lucid, I mostly focused on basically understanding the software stack initially. So it was most of perception side, basically camera, object detections, lane detections, this kind of modules in self-driving industry you use, right? So what I used to do was basically I used to take those algorithms created by the perception developers, and I used to implement those algorithms into the target hardware system in the ECU, you can call it, or anything. So electronic component unit in every car has it. That's where the algorithms runs, right? So I used to focus on that, right? And I was just learning stuff and stuff like that. But with Lucid, I don't have much experience because I was only there for like 6 months, and
Yeah.
I was like just getting on a track and stuff like that. In the meantime, I just switched, right? Yeah. Uh, yeah. So basically, after that, I switched to NVIDIA, right? And at NVIDIA side, now the whole world is different again. It's entirely different. It's because now they are very big. They were extremely big actually, and they like now if I go back to my first company, we were 5 people of the team working on a module. Over here, the same module is being created by almost 70 people, right? Like that, 70. It's that big difference. There are certain thing in our my first company, there is total team of self-driving was around 20, 40, 50 people. Over here, there are 3,000 people, right? So it's a huge difference, and the whole game is different. So actually, it took me a while to understand the systems at NVIDIA, actually, because it was extremely streamlined, extremely robust, and totally different work culture. The way you think is different, the way you work is different, the way you do everything is different. So I cannot even correlate the work I'm doing here with my first company, actually. Almost, I cannot even correlate it, to be very honest. It was huge difference.
Also with NVIDIA, what kind of work are they doing with self-driving?
Yeah, so they are basically at NVIDIA, they are basically trying to figure out different level of self-driving. Like for example, they're trying to figure out L2, L2 plus plus, L3, L3 plus, everything, right? And
Which
they are
means,
basically, sorry.
what does that mean? Like the L2?
Yeah, sure. I'll explain. So what does that mean is basically L2 means you can consider it as a level 2 self-driving. That's L2 plus plus means level 2 self-driving plus plus. Means basically, if you will see Tesla, right? Tesla self-driving today is basically L2 plus plus. So what Tesla claims is basically, hey, you can drive your car, but you need to keep your hands on the steering wheel and you need to keep looking on the road, right? Because now your hands and eyes needs to be engaged. So that becomes now L2 plus plus self-driving, right? When you go to L3, they might ask you to not touch on the steering wheel or do not look on the road, and you can still just sit still in the car. The car will drive by itself. So that comes down to L3. And when you basically go forward to L4 or L5, L5 means there is no driver seat. There is no steering wheel. There is no paddles. Like it's a robot. That's L5, right?
Yeah.
Technically. So yeah, I think in right now we are not exactly at L5 yet. A lot of other companies are trying to crack L5, like Cruise and Zoox and Waymo and all. You'll probably see in San Francisco, they are trying to crack it. Yeah, but it's not like scalable yet. It's working in San Francisco and some of the areas, LA and all, but it's not scalable yet. So yeah, for NVIDIA is basically doing a significant contribution in this self-driving industry, and they are basically working on all aspects of this self-driving layers, and they are not building anything. They are not OEM. NVIDIA is not like or not like BMW or Tesla. They are not making their own car. They are providing services to the other companies to basically make their car self-driving, like that. So that's what basically NVIDIA does in terms of self-driving, right? They're providing software stack, hardware stack, everything they're providing. They're providing software and hardware, sensor suits, everything they're providing. And they're basically helping people to make their car work as a self-driving. Whatever they need, whatever level they need, they help in all the levels, right? Like that.
Yeah. Can you talk about your specific role at NVIDIA? Like, what are you working on?
Yeah. So my role became more or less like a embedded software at NVIDIA. I more work on a hardware side at this point. So hardware software, technically speaking, on a hardware side software like that. So basically that embedded C, then safety, then some of the PLC programming, so stuff like that. So now I basically work more on a lower level of the chipsets and make optimized version of the algorithms and basically run it on that small hardware which is going to work on the car, right? Um, yeah, so I basically more or less working on a and also like in automotive industry, safety is a bigger work because they have established this requirements called NHTSA or Euro NCAP. Euro NCAP is basically Europe's requirement. NHTSA is basically Americans. US government have established these requirements for any car to put it on a road, stuff like that. So this kind of thing you have to follow and you have to meet these guidelines and stuff like that. So I more or less work on that now because I wanted to work on production side. As I mentioned earlier that I wanted to work on production where the product goes into the production and people use it, which I think NVIDIA already has. Like there is a lot of customers NVIDIA have, which people things are actually on the road right now, stuff like that. So yeah, I directly basically work on the hardware side and try to implement it more and more optimization over there.
Yeah. So if you had to give some advice to someone who's still in high school or early in college wanting to go down a similar career path, what would you tell them?
Well, yeah, sure. So basically, I think when you are in high school or you are in like let's say when you are in high school, right? At that time, you still need to basically decide if you want to choose your engineering or you want to choose your medical or you want to choose something else or which engineering you want to choose, computer, electrical, mechanical, this, that, everything like that, right? So I would say uh do like try to basically understand where do you see yourself first of all doing and like what's your own priorities like that, right? For example, and what happens is at that age, I think it becomes hard to predict that hey, what you might like at the age of 29 or you might like at the age of 25. It's very hard to predict right at that time because you are liking more than one thing at the same time, right? So at that time, people start to feel that, hey, I don't like anything or something like that. But don't worry about that. So try to choose a core field. That is very important, right? Try to choose a core field. Core field means what? Core field means try to choose a something like if you really want to go into the construction, then you need to know that your love for construction is there or not. If you want to go for automotive, for cars, then you need to know if you have a love for car or not. If you want to really go to AI, then you need to understand software. Then you need to understand if you have a love for AI or software industry or some computers, you have that love or not. That thing, just figure that out. That, hey, what do you like to spend your more time on? Simple. Then you choose your major and then you get into the college, right? After that, when you actually get into the college, you should basically also focus more on that. Hey, which tech is in the world right now, which is hot topic, what is going on with what tech, what industry. That is very important thing to basically know. What people usually do is people usually when they go to the college, they basically also sometimes fear that hey, what if they will get the job or not, because they already have this tuition fees, they have these loans going on and everything like that, right? So they basically fear, hey, how will I pay my loan or something like that, right? Where will I get my first job or something like that? So that fear is there, but before that, always think and do some research that hey, what fields are most hot right now. For example, today if anybody is graduating in 2024, I would highly recommend them to basically explore the AI industry or LLM industry or all of those basically software industry right now, because right now you are seeing that most of the people in anywhere in US or anywhere in the world, software people are basically they are getting more and more importance. They will There is a very high chance they will keep getting more and more importance because of the AI revolution is going on, right? So try to explore the industry first, see if you really like it, love it, and then get into it, right? And once you get into it, don't really think that hey, it's too hard, I can't do it. Don't keep thinking like that. We have ChatGPT now, we have all the tools available now, you can always learn. That's out of the question. So be very careful by choosing the industry grows, you'll grow. You don't necessarily have to grow in such a space where industry is not growing. That is very hard thing to do, trust me. Like it that job seems very easy. Like some industries are like that, which are very stable and robust industry, but for you to grow in there is very hard, right? But if you go in an industry where industry is growing, you will grow automatically. You don't need to you need to put an effort because you are exploring new stuff, but that's also fun life, right? So
All right then. Thank you for meeting with me.
yeah, it was nice talking to Rohan. Yeah, all the best.